Hi guys, welcome back. Now, I know I'm in the kitchen, but this isn't a Chef Spud cooking video, although technically it is going to be a cooking video because in a minute I'm going to cook these headlights in the oven. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. In a previous video, I took the headlight out of my Civic and I was just going to swap them over because obviously this one looks terrible and it's started to go black on the chrome, and I was just going to put this one in. However, I've come across a little problem. So if I turn them both around, this is my one which has got electric headlight tilt, and this one is a manual tilt. The other one that I've bought, because I bought a pair, so one of them's obviously been replaced at some point, the other one has got electric tilt, but these two tabs are snapped off. So I'm going to attempt to swap the backs with the fronts. Now that sounds like a complete waste of time, however I think it's going to be worth it in the end. And I've watched a couple of videos on it, and basically you put them in the oven on a really low temperature, which softens the glue around the lens. Pop these tabs off, take the lens off the front, take the chrome out, and put all that on the back of the other one. Let's give it a go. First things first, let's do a milky brew. Also, another little top tip, the trick when you're going to attempt some sort of car DIY mechanics thing in the kitchen is wait until your wife has gone to work. Right, let's crack on. Right, let's put the oven on to its lowest setting. Take some of these trays out. Obviously the oven doesn't have to be spotlessly clean for this because you're putting a headlight in there, so. Right, is this even going to fit? Right, let's cook that for, oh dear, Mrs. ain't going to be happy that her oven door's not very clean. Never mind. Right, let's cook that for, good grief, a couple of minutes. Keep testing it. You want it like warm, but you don't want it like melting. Obviously all the plastics and everything's going to melt. I've also taken all the bulbs and all the bits off it. I left the electric motor on there because it's only getting warm like it would be like on a really hot day, so technically it should be okay. I've started with the old headlight first as well, because if it completely goes pear-shaped then I'm just going to fit the other headlight. So let's see what happens. Right, let's just have a quick check. Yeah, it's like warmish. It's been in there for about 3 or 4 minutes. Obviously I only just turned the oven on, so let's give it another little couple of minutes. Alright, let's see how we're getting on. Yeah, it's like warmish. So I'm going to leave the oven going. Obviously it's going to pop it back in there in a minute. And basically just with a flat blade screwdriver, just pop these tabs all the way around the side and try and work the lens off. There's like glue in this bit here, which hopefully being in the oven softened it up. If it doesn't start to come off straight away, I shall pop it back in the oven. Right, I've got to put the camera down because I can't do this one-handed. Well, I've got an old tablecloth up here just to protect the top of the oven. Let's have a little look. Yeah, it's not too hot. Like, you can easily touch it, but I don't know whether that's hot enough. Right, let's have another go at prizing these clips out. So I've just started to prise this away with a screwdriver. That's your glue in there, the white stuff, but it's nowhere near hot enough, so I might crank the oven up a little bit and leave it in there for a bit longer. So I've gone back in and out of the oven a couple of times. You've got to get it way hotter than you think, almost to the point where it's like almost too hot to touch. And underneath, I've prized it out. You basically got to get in there with a screwdriver. So I've basically got to get in there with a screwdriver. So I've kind of gone in and like over the back and then kind of prized it up to get around the back of the lens. So I have like bent this in a couple of places, which is why I've started on the older one. But once you get it hot again, to put the other lens back in, obviously once all this is hot, you can push all this back down again, and once you fit it, you're not going to see any of that anyway. The only bit you're going to see is the lens, so it doesn't really matter. As long as it's functional, it should be okay. So here she is. Look, you basically just keep working your way around with a screwdriver, and at some point it all comes apart. You can get in there with your fingers and literally just pull it out. There we go. Look at that. So there we go. That is how you separate a Civic headlight. At this stage, if you were going to do what the cool kids do and take that reflector bit out and paint it a darker colour to look like the EK9 import ones, then obviously you've got to take these screws out here and there, pop that out, paint it, and then put it all back together. When you do put it back together, when you press this in place, then put it back in the oven, because you then need to soften this glue up again and then kind of push it in a couple of times, heat it up again, push it in, make sure it's all the way in, because you need to have this completely sealed, otherwise inside the headlight you'll end up getting condensation and stuff like that. Anyway, hope that's helped someone. If it was, then make sure you subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and see you on the next one.